Okay, so here is my fifth video that I'm posting. I was posting every day. Um, so I recorded one yesterday, but I didn't post it because I felt too self-conscious about it. I was feeling kind of down yesterday, and um, it felt too vulnerable. Part of the challenge of doing these vlogs and doing the singing videos has been just this like radical exposure. And I'm a nudist. I just believe in what the physical exposure has done for my spirit. So I also want to have the mental and emotional exposure as well. I feel like that is like a gift that I want to give to the world in a way. Like that's the way that I want to serve. And I guess I was feeling yesterday that um, like vlogging and even blogging that I want to do and writing and things like that, and even singing, like a lot of the stuff that I am passionate about is very performing and exposure. And to me, I just wrestle with this idea. It like feels so self-involved and so selfish, but for some reason, like I enjoy it, and I do believe that it can help somebody, maybe a few somebodies. I do believe that, but sometimes I let my doubt overshadow that. I just because I'm sensitive and an empath, I hear all sides of the story. So I hear the people, I hear the voice of judgment, and I hear the voice of how good it could be. Um, and I guess I'm critical on myself about, oh, it's more noble if I'm like feeding the starving children versus videoing my face, like talking about my life, like. Um, but I think there's loads of ways that you can give to people, um, and loads of ways that you, if you're honest with yourself, where your passion lies. So your passion might not lie in serving the poorest of poor food. That might not be your passion. Maybe you're better suited for um, serving the policymakers, or serving the women, or whatever pocket of humanity um, happens to be your passion. And I guess I feel a sense of guilt around I should help like the worst case person, the person that's like in the deepest ditch. And then if I help somebody that's like doing okay, then that's not valid. Um, so a lot of demons to wrestle. But I just have become really passionate in my life about um, having the courage to expose what's inside, and bring it to light, bring it outside. Because I've been sensitive to this feeling of, um, well, walking around with a certain mask, a certain barrier, and I can feel how much it means to people. So when I went on that nude beach day where I was at the nude beach with that guy, that dude from the internet, and it was totally great and totally fine, and it felt therapeutic. Um, it felt therapeutic, I guess, on both sides. Like I got to share the things I'm passionate about and my story, and I got to meet this human being, and I got to listen to him, and um, he was just telling me about his life, and he's in a very masculine dominated field, and he's with a lot of guys that it doesn't sound like he has like heart to heart talks with. He's in a very physical sort of mechanical field, um, and yeah, it seems like he could use sort of a talk. We talked about art and how passionate I have been recently, even more than before, about expressing myself in a variety of ways through art. Um, and he said, "Oh, now I'm inspired to start sculpting." He used to do a lot of cool, because he's very good like with metal and mechanics. So he used to do these like sculptures and stuff. Um, and yeah, that I think that's powerful, and I think that's inspiring to. It's yeah, I would hope that I would inspire somebody. Um, yeah, so I think yesterday I was feeling sort of doubtful. I was like, oh, this is just like so vain. This is like so like But I'm trying to make it less vain too. I mean, I guess I'm like not trying to like look good. I mean, this is kind of horrifying to me to watch myself. Because I used to really be into like the makeup and like I used to have like the long hair and this is um, yeah, I'm aware of um, that I'm not like putting effort into trying to like make the lighting right or look glamorous. And that's also part of like the joy of nudism that I found. Um, because like deep down, I just like want to be loved for like like all my vulnerabilities and all my so-called ugly parts. And if I'm only loved for like the shiny things, then I mean that's kind of obvious, I guess. I love the shiny things too. um, so I've just been trying to like put that out there, even though I'm kind of wincing. I'm like, oh boy. um, and I guess it felt kind of vulnerable yesterday because I noticed I got unfriended by two people on Facebook, and there's really no reason for them to unfriend me other than me posting all this stuff that I'm imagining annoys them. So, yeah, so kind of I'm still new to putting myself out there in this way, and it's still like, oh. And I know, celebrities like they put out content all the time, and they just, I guess, they get so much trolling and so much hate. It's just, how do they just keep taking those hits? It's just like two people unfriended me, and I'm just like, how do you do this? um, so yeah, I think I guess I'll get better at resiliency. Um, and I guess like eventually like you take that leap, and then I'm counting on the fact that the people that want to stay connected are the ones that are more in line with where I'm going, where I am and where I'm going. Um, and people that want to disconnect, they're allowed to. Um, and I guess I wouldn't mind if people want to disconnect. That's fine. But I guess I have to have faith that new people will want to connect, and I think that's where I haven't really done that research yet. I haven't seen sure evidence that the new people will want to reconnect. That it won't just be like series of disconnect, and that I'm all alone. So I'm trusting, the belief, the idea that the more authentic you move into who you are, the more the right people will find you. And I've done sort of experiments in that realm of like when I've decided to like move to different phases. Like I have all different phases. I've had phases where I've done different like radical diets, like raw food or veganism or whatever. And I've had phases like where I've radically changed like spirituality and all sorts of things. And in that shift, I'm so excited to make the shift. And often the people in my life are more resistant to me changing, or they just don't get it. They're just not in line with it. They just don't really know where it's coming from. And I've experimented with both things, like just still trying to stay connected with them, even though like I feel like I'm going in a different direction or I'm evolving in a different way. And I've also tried the thing where I'm just like, okay, well, I guess we're not in line anymore. Bye. And when I've done that, I feel like I'm in a way arrogant. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna make all these new friends anyway, so bye. And then like a lot of the time I just like fall flat on my face and like I don't quickly make the new friends. So then I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, I feel stupid now. um, but I guess I have to continue to trust. I've received a lot of comfort and direction from psychics, and of course, there's a lot of just scammer psychics. But I think I've gotten pretty good at finding people that I feel like are good and that I trust, um, and a lot of the time I'll just take a piece of advice and I'll put it to use, and maybe months down the road, if I find that piece of advice was good, that's a person that I might go back to. And if I find that piece of advice was not good, maybe I won't go back to them. So I do bits of research with these psychics, but they open up my mind, they expand my mind. And the way I see it is like worst case scenario, they're just giving me good advice. Best case scenario, which is what I believe, that they're tapping into some sort of intuition. And um, so, um, yeah, I've received a lot of good help from them, um, and unconventional help because like I'm familiar with the whole psychotherapy world, and it definitely has a specific um, sort of way that it can help. But I think there are other ways, there are other tools that you can use to help as well, and maybe instead. So when used I used information from psychotherapy um, and I was in therapy and things like that, it gave me certain pieces to the puzzle, but it didn't give me all the pieces. Um, so what I like about like seeing somebody like a mystic or a psychic or a shaman, they just give me something else that maybe is closer to what I might need. Um, Something a little more sometimes physical, a little more artistic, a little more I guess right brain versus left brain, like more spatial in a way, more creative sometimes. So yeah, they've given me good advice. And one of the pieces of advice one of the psychics gave me was this idea of moving deeper into my truth, like being riskier, and in a way more polarizing. So, I was prepared for people to exit that didn't like what I had to say. Um, and I asked him about, like, okay, so the more I move into who I want to be, it seems like it's kind of lonely. Like, the less conventional and acceptable I become, um, then I'm just going to be alone, aren't I? I mean, am I just isolating myself? Um, and he kind of said, like, the more you toe the line, it's like you have one foot in one world and one foot in the other. And if you finally, like, actually leap over that fence, then you'll find your people there. So anyway, wow, I'm already at over 12 minutes. Okay. So great. So I will post this. Bye.